And now it's my honor to introduce the chairperson of our Athletic Hall of Fame, a man to whom we cannot say a big enough thank you. He has been our chairman for all 25 of the years of the Athletic Hall of Fame's existence. Jim Sewey.
Thank you, Roger. This is a special occasion for all of us. Every year is special. And we have two great athletes, a tremendous coach, and a superb volunteer booster going in this year. And this is their day. But it couldn't happen without the help and effort of a lot of people. And since this is the 25th anniversary, even though we did miss a year because of COVID, but it is the 25th year of the Hall of Fame, I just want to mention a few people I think are so important to this process. And if those of you have the program, on the back cover, inside cover, is a list of all the current members of the selection committee. I have to tell you, they work very hard. This is an arduous, difficult process. It's incredible how many wonderful athletes, coaches, and support people have helped this great legacy at Fairmont. And it is not an easy task. But I can tell you, for this year, there will be 170 people, coaches, support people, that have gone into the Hall of Fame out of a conservative list of 15,000. And every year a new class comes in. So it is a very difficult process. Over the years, we've had 31 individuals serve on this committee, serving 321 years of service. I would like currently for our current Hall of Fame Selection Committee members to please stand, and there's a couple others I'd like to also recognize. Some former members that we've had in the audience is Brenda Zimmer, Hall of Famer, served on our committee, and Sandra Whaley served on our committee, and Coach Rick Robertson. Please give them a hand. Our athletic boosters are amazing. Please consider joining the athletic boosters through our website. Everything you see here is paid for by the hard work of the Fairmont Athletic Boosters. We have in the audience today a couple individuals I think we need to recognize. Dave Hullinger is the current president. If Dave would stand and please hold your applause until the end. Kim Fantasi, treasurer. And we have ex-president Don Fortner. Donnie, would you stand? And Jim Burlon, please stand. We owe a debt of gratitude for all they have done for us. This program, no other school does this. This program is donated every year by what was Sherholz Graphics, which was just turned over recently to Minuteman, and they did another great job. Every year, Charlie Sherholz, a graduate of Fairmont, donated this, and every year it's $1,000 type of program. But it embodies, it gives you a good idea of the history of every person that's gone into this Hall of Fame. And we're definitely appreciative for Charlie and all that he did on the past. We have a few volunteers I'd want to recognize that have really helped us over the years. I apologize if I miss anyone. And please stand and be recognized and hold your applause to the end. Kathy Sewey, she is the main cake cutter. You want cake, go to Kathy. Please stand. Dave Nogle has done so much. Where is Dave? You got to stand up. I know we'll get to you later a little. I think we're getting to you. Carol Lamb has helped us with photography. John Devine with photography. Larry Lamb just does a tremendous job in the interview process. And we have somebody in our audience today that has done so much To promote Hall of Fame in the past, Dave Lamb from Dayton Newspapers, a tremendous sports writer, if Dave would stand up. Pam Fortner has helped us so much in the past. Our Fairmont coaches, any of our coaches, please stand. And we're very appreciative to the video staff and the custodial staff. Thank you so much, and please give them a round of applause. Now it is my great honor to introduce to you the past members of the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame who are joining us today. And please hold your applause to the end because they represent the greatest team in Fairmont history. From 1963 to 1993, Fairmont East and Kettering coach Neil Sharsky. 1963 Fairmont, Dave Fisher. 1964 Fairmont, Jim Overholzer. 1967 Fairmont West, Phil Baker. 1967 Gene Baker, Fairmont West. 1968 Phil Drayton, Fairmont West. 1971 Fairmont West, Tim Ireland. 1972, Fairmont East, Tom Adams. 1974, Fairmont West, Pat McDermott. 1978, Fairmont East, Brenda Zimmer. 1979, Fairmont West, Betty Gohegan. 1979, Fairmont East, Peanut Burns. 1979, Fairmont West, Nan Heeb. 1980, Fairmont East, Tom Bell. 1980, Fairmont East, Terry Bell. From 1982 to 1986 at Fairmont West and Kettering, Coach Wendy Devine. 1991 to 2008, Kettering Fairmont, former AD, Coach Rick Robertson. In 1996, Kettering Fairmont, Andy Irakari. Let's give these people a great round of applause. I will leave you with a short statement about I want to recognize somebody we would not be here without. He had the foresight to agree to start a Hall of Fame here at Fairmont when he was the athletic director. He is a Hall of Fame member, one of the best coaches in our history. And if it were not for his vision, even though it had been tried by many, many good people before and didn't quite get off the ground, it did get off the ground under the leadership of Rick Robertson. Rick, will you please stand up and be recognized? And with that, we have a very short little screen show here to show you before I introduce our Hall of Fame inductees. So could we run that briefly? Thank you. Thank you for that, John. Thank you. Gives a very short overview of what we've done over the last 25 years. And it's now my pleasure to introduce to you our Master of Ceremonies, Scott Beyer. Scott?
Good afternoon. On behalf of the City of Kettering, the Kettering City Schools, the Fairmont Athletic Department, and the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame Committee, welcome to the 24th Annual Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The Hall of Fame charter class covered the first 2 years of inductions, 1999 and 2000, and included 57 inductees, 51 athletes, and 6 coaches. To date, there are a total of 170 Hall of Fame inductees, 25 specials, and 145 athletes. The Fairmont Hall of Fame now inducts 4 to 6 total per year, athletes and/or specials. To be eligible to qualify to be in the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame, you must be an athlete who has graduated from one of the Kettering high schools, Fairmont, Fairmont West, Fairmont East, or Kettering Fairmont, and lettered in one sport for 2 years or 2 or more sports for 1 year. Athletes become eligible for inclusion in the Hall of Fame 10 years after their respective high school graduation. Also eligible to qualify to be in the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame are specials. Specials include a coach, administrator, or support person. Specials must have served in their respective coaching, administrator, or supporting role for a minimum of 5 years and become eligible for inclusion in the Hall of Fame 5 years after their retirement. The community of Kettering and its city schools have a long and storied history. From 1922 to 1963, we were the Fairmont Dragons. From 1963 to 1983, we were the Fairmont West Dragons and Fairmont East Falcons. And from 1983 to 2023, we have been and will continue to be the Kettering Fairmont Firebirds. This year, 2023, marks 101 years of the pride, honor, and tradition that is Fairmont. The athletes inducted into the Hall of Fame span 83 years, 1927 to 2010, and include 40 athletes from Fairmont, 59 athletes from Fairmont East and Fairmont West, and 46 athletes from Kettering Fairmont. Hall of Fame athletes have been awarded a total of 906 letters. Females have been awarded 309 letters, and males 597 letters. The specials, coach, administrator, or support person inducted into the Hall of Fame span 99 years, 1924 to 2023, and represent a total of 436 years of service, an average of just over 17 years per special. In the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame, there are 9 different types of Hall of Fame family combinations, 5 brother-brother combinations, Bolander, Garnica, Hoke, Bell, and Withrow, 2 sister-sister combinations, Bissinger and Kurz, 3 brother-sister combinations, Kiefer, Baker, and Fiden, 1 set of twins, Bell, 5 father-son combinations, Roush, Wagner, Kreitzer, Kiefer, and McVeigh, 1 father-daughter combination, Kiefer, 1 mother-daughter combination, Marquardt, 1 father-son-daughter combination, Kiefer, and 1 husband-wife combination, Norris. If you were counting, that makes 20 total family combinations, 2 from Fairmont, 16 from a combined Fairmont, Fairmont West, and Fairmont East, and 2 from Kettering Fairmont. The Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame class of 2023 will be the 24th class inducted in the past 25 years. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, a Hall of Fame class of 2021 was not inducted into the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame class of 2023 will include 2 athletes and 2 specials. It is now my honor and privilege to begin to introduce the members of the class of 2023. I will introduce each inductee and their respective presenter to the auditorium stage together. When each Hall of Fame inductee has finished speaking, I will hand each of them, on behalf of the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame Committee, a proclamation from the City of Kettering recognizing their Hall of Fame induction. Cindy Brown will be followed by Dave Nogle, Coach Tim Cogan, and Cassie Sant. Let's begin. Cindy Brown, inductee number 167. Cindy is the second member of the Fairmont East class of 1979, joining Peanut Burns. Cindy could not be here with us today, but recorded a video to be shared with us after she's presented by Neil Charsky.
Good afternoon. It's an honor to have coached Cindy Brown Williams now. Unfortunately, she's in Hawaii, which we all wish we were there with her. She could not be here for reasons of the fact that she is involved in a wedding of her best friend's daughter, and she's very involved in a wedding. And you know how weddings are, you plan them way, way ahead, and it is actually today that is the wedding. Well, a lot of girls were running in her time. They were not running in high school because it wasn't an accepted sport. A lot of girls were running AAU and other club situations. So it was hard for Cindy to be the best at something that really, in a sense, didn't exist. But when Cindy was at Fairmont East, the girls' track had just gotten started, and girls' cross country, as I said, did not exist in the 70s. However, she wound up being one of the best in the state, then the best in America, and she also beat an Olympic champion. When I first met Cindy, I asked her name. She said, Cindy. I said, okay, C-I-N-D-Y. No, she said, that's not right. It's C-Y-N-D-I-E. I said, what? Okay, C-Y-N-D-I-E. And I knew right then that she was going to be different. And I wasn't sure if she was going to be different good or different bad. But it was exceptional. She was an exceptional person, and she wound up being very, very good, different. The 60s and 70s were troubled times in our history. Some girls wanted to challenge the establishment. Not Cindy. She just wanted to run. A year before, a girl wanted to do the same things and make a challenge. That didn't work out too well for her. Because when she came out, I said, fine. If you want to be on the boys' team, you have to do what the boys do. And that didn't work out too well. And the next year, Cindy and a friend, actually, also named Cindy, wanted to run. I said, fine, same policy. They ran with the boys and wound up, unfortunately for the boys, beating most of them. Boys didn't like that too much, needless to say. It was not easy for them either at times. And they sometimes wondered what they were getting into or when they had gotten into. At times they really wondered. Whatever the difference was that caused the difference for them, I certainly wish I could have bottled it, because what it was an internal drive and determination that was hard to comprehend. In cross country, the state ran 2 miles at that time for boys only. There was no state race for girls, or state competition as such, so she ran with the boy on the boys' team. When the state changed to 2.5 miles the next year, they brought in girls cross country. She was better at that than 2.5 miles. The longer the distance, the better. Then today now, of course, they run 3.1 miles or 5K. And I would have loved to have seen her in that, because she would have been even better, because the longer the better, as I said. Well, Cindy did not lose a 2.5-mile race all her senior year when she was running against the girls. Until a state meet, she did get second. to another AAU runner. In track, she ran a 5:04 mile. She also ran in the 4x8 relay in track, which was one of the best times in America at the time. Included runners such as Cindy McDermott, Bev Jarvis, Julie Luman, and Maureen Kogan. Maureen Kogan, who's also a member of this Hall of Fame. And she wound up winning the state herself 2 years later. Cindy was not a speed runner, but had great pace and never let up. For her, the longer the distance, the better. So look at Cindy's times you see in the program. They're great by today's standards for girls, and even great for boys, some of the better boys. Their times don't equal her times. And you got to realize that was 45 years ago. 45 years ago, longer than many of the people in this room have been around. It makes me feel ancient, to say the least. Her times were equal, as I said, to the many boys, and she was ranked as #1 marathoner in America in 1987. #1 in America, not in Ohio, in America. She was 6th in the world, and she had the fastest time in America for 5,000 meters. How many people can say that they were featured on 3 National Running Magazine covers? Not the article, but covers. Cindy can. How many people can say they beat an Olympic champion? Cindy can. She beat Joan Benoit Samuelson, the Olympic marathon champion in the Olympics in 1984, but Cindy got injured just before the trials and couldn't compete in the trials. And she later did very well after that. She's still the only American to ever win the Honolulu Marathon. Cindy was not just a good runner. She was a great runner. Not in just Ohio, but in America. Think about that. What a fantastic career she's had. And I now say congratulations, Cindy, wherever you are on the beach in Hawaii or wherever you may be. Congratulations to you on being inducted into the Fairmont Hall of Fame, and we're going to hear a word from her by video. Thank you very much.
Looking back, my time in high school was really a transitional time
Thank you, Neil, and congratulations to Cindy Brown. Please help me welcome to the stage Dave Nogle, inductee number 168. Dave is the 24th special and second booster, joining Harry Otto. Dave will be presented by Patty Nogle.
Wow. Well, first, I'd like to properly introduce myself. After 47 years of marriage, I have learned that I am not Patty Matthews Nogle. I am the mayor's wife. You see, being married to the mayor has been a privilege, honor, and 95% of the time, an absolute blast. The other 5% of the time is encapsulated into all of the minutes I stand and wait. Waiting for Dave to finish a text at 90, or at 80, sorry, Dave, at 80 it's a little challenging. Waiting for Dave to unlock my side of the car, he can't figure out that double click thing. Or waiting for Dave to finish a long conversation with someone he knows from Fairmont. When he finally gets to the car, he already knows that I've gone ahead because I have my own set of keys. He then explains to me who the person was he was talking to, how they knew each other, and how I should remember them. I just listen and then I say, oh, I know who you mean. 95% of the time, I'm lying. Dave knows so many parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators at Fairmont, but out of all of his connections, the students and athletes that have walked these halls, played on the fields, and run on the courts are what he loves the most. And what is very special is that they all remember him because he cared enough about each of them to stop and ask them how things are going and offer a listening ear when needed. Whether they were having a tough time in a class, at home, on a team, Dave listened. And when you take time to really listen, it shows that you really care. There was one student that I won't forget, although I don't remember her name. She was being introduced on Grandparents' Night in Trent Arena, but she didn't have a grandparent. So who does she ask to play such an important role that special night? Yep, my Davy. He proudly escorted her across the floor, and what could have been a night feeling left out for her, the smile on her face walking across that floor, her arm in his arm, was priceless. And that right there should put Davy in the Athletic Hall of Fame. Your program lists many of the ways that Dave has supported Fairmont and programs he initiated over the years. And there are many. But if you ask him what his favorite accomplishment was, he would be quick to reply, that flag. That flag that hangs from the rafters in Trent Arena, that flag that unfurls before each varsity game, that flag that people stand and place their hands over their hearts and look up with pride to be an American. That flag was the product of an idea that Dave had, and he knew someone that could make it happen, and it did. I think of Davy and the pride that he feels every time it lowers and raises. I feel proud to be standing next to him, mid-court, in seats 6 and 7, with my hand over my heart. Thank you, Davy, for that flag. In closing, I want to thank all of you for being with us on this special afternoon. Our children and our grandchildren have some big shoes to fill. Me, I'm good. After walking this road beside him for 47 years, my shoes are 95% full. It is my extreme honor and privilege to present my husband and my best friend, Davy.
Wow. First kind words I've heard from her for a long time. I didn't, yeah, the last, I could say, I better suck it up now because I'm not going to hear it anymore. No. Oh, but thank you so much, my loving Patty, and the Hall of Fame committee. It's just a great honor. Yeah. As a young kid, I came to Kettering 60 years ago, and come from a little town in Kingston down by Chillicothe, and came up here to work in a sporting goods store. And somehow somebody said, you ought to go out and see that parade. I came to the first Holiday at Home parade. I was hooked. I love Kettering. And it's been that way all my life and still is. As I get pretty emotional about it. I've lived within 2 minutes of this high school in all the 4 homes that I've owned in Kettering. And first off, if I ever got in a bad enough problem, Patty forgot to pick me up, I at least knew I could walk home. Yep. Along the way, and all our times of being here, our 2 daughters of my 4 children, 2 of them decided they want to be involved in athletics. And my Kelly, first, she decided she wanted to be a manager, and she was involved from Van Buren junior high at the time, now middle school, and all the way to the high school, and earned her varsity letter when she was with the basketball team, and Coach Casey and was involved at that time. Then my daughter Jenny, which surprised me one day, Patty called me up and said, hey, your daughter's trying out for basketball? As a 4th grader. And I'm too busy, as I'll tell you a little later on, why. But Jenny got involved and hooked on basketball and led her junior and senior year for the Firebirds playing basketball here. Unfortunately, didn't get to play in Trent Arena. So I guess I had 3 phone calls that really formed my Fairmont athletic life. The first one was many years ago was Tim Casey, who was our boys basketball coach and came here to take over. Called me up. I didn't know him, just out of the clear blue sky, as they say. So I said, he introduced himself. He said, I want you to start my Firebird Futures program. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, I'm going to go to start a youth. I went to the youth program, go get it organized. The Wyatt had a program. The city was doing some things, but he wanted to do it. And I said, well, I haven't done anything. I said, well, why don't you call Mickey Morgan? He said, no, I already did. He said, his son's going to play, and he doesn't feel comfortable doing it. I said, well, I'll make him get involved. Well, Mickey and I started at that time the boys Firebird Futures. We got along going several years later, not too much longer, but Michelle Dockin, who was a teacher over at the KMS, called me up and said, Dave, do you realize how many girls tried out for the middle school basketball team in the last year? She said, there's only 7 at Van Buren. She said, we got to start a girls program. Well, hence the Firebird Futurettes program got started. And the first year, which much to our pride, and the big thing was so that kids could get involved and enjoy the game of basketball the way we loved it. 51 girls tried out for the basketball team the following year. And so they felt our accomplishments, and of course today it thrives under the Kettering Youth Firebird Athletic Program, and with several leaderships that have gone on and carried forth. Then the third phone call I got was Brian Donaher. Called me up one day. He'd become the new athletic director and been here for a short period of time. Said, hey, if you're not doing anything, I need you to come up here and be my booster treasurer. I said, well, he knew that I had been involved with Tuffy Brooks and in sales and that respect. I said, Brian, I'm not an accountant. I didn't do bookkeeping. I said, I've sold stuff and things of that nature. And he said, it doesn't matter. That's what I mean. He said, well, I'm a finance major. He said, if you screw up, he says, I know how to correct it. So, needless to say, that made a great combination. Well, it didn't take very long that probably in a couple of months, I guess, we got started in the first year or so, all of a sudden I got a letter in the mail from the IRS, and they had taken $4,500 out of the booster account. And I read it further, and it said that we had, for 2 years, had not filed our 990s. When you're a charitable organization, you must file a tax return. It's a 990. So it was incorrectly filed for 2 years. So I said to Brian, what did you get me into? I don't know what this stuff's about. Now the government's taking our money. So we get a hold of our former people who had done the tax returns, and we had a meeting, and we're sitting there, and they're talking. Well, here comes the finance major, and the sharp guy looks at it, and he said, I got it figured out. I know what you did. You put the numbers in the wrong columns. You've got to put 2 years' reports in, and they were flipping them each year. Consequently, a computer doesn't know that, and they refused them, and then they dunned us and took our money. Well, needless to say, we got it straightened out. But just to show you how Uncle Sam works, they give us all of our money back except for $5. So, again, with having your kids involved and again being involved with Brian, as such, I came to realize and quickly to see that the booster organization is the lifeblood of every athletic program, or even any school program, whether it's the band boosters or it's PTAs, the elementary. But it takes parents and I came up with 3 of them. It takes people, passion, and time. If you get some good people, if they got the passion about whether it's the sport or their kids or the school, and then the ample time to do it, you got a really successful program. And I tell you, Fairmont has been blessed. I followed some great people, and I can go back, and I saw the girls here tonight. Bill Yike was a good buddy. Go back to Bill Yike, Don Fortner, Greg Nelson, Jim Seawee, currently Kim Fantaisi. Having a great athletic departments to work with. I really started with most of my involvement. I started early with Rick Robertson, helping out along the way, and then Brian, as I say, became an officer and involved with him. And then currently, we got a great one in Chris Weaver, and of course my buddy, Nicole Motto, having those people, Frank Baxter. But you got to have a cooperation, and we've been so blessed to be able to do that. And so you got to have a willingness to want to work and to raise funds. And as I say, the hundreds of boosters that I've been involved with, they're just innumerable that took the time. They were there. They worked the phrase in the rain, or they worked parking lots, and they've done all the things to help Fairmont have a successful and a good program. I guess along the way, I've been asked on many occasions, what are you most proud of up there, the time that you spent? I get a little choked up on. But Patty mentioned the flag, of course. But another one was I was sitting in 2005. I was sitting in the stands, and it was a night that we were dedicating Trent Arena, but it was a brainchild of Greg Nelson. And along with that idea, I felt very proud at that night. I was sitting there with it, and I'd been a part of that. And to see that building and that place in capacity and see us beat Alter that night was amazing. Yeah. As I say, the flag, little things like I put the walk-in cooler in the concession stand. This little thing you look at, gosh, I was there when we did that. And I guess, and then one of the others was, what's your most exciting thing? Well, he's coming up next. But my buddy, Jim Trent, and every time I mention his name, I get a little choked up because he's my buddy. But the two of us, were always like a road show. We had a pregame meal. Both of us were under heart care for Dr. Pacetta, and we were spurred not to beat too much cholesterol. But we couldn't wait till we got on the road, and we'd leave at 4 o'clock. We knew where every Frisch's was up and down the highway, so we could have our our big boy, Frisch's Big Boys and our French fries before we went to the game. But we saw them all, and we saw all of Cassie's games. And then we got lucky. We followed through with Kim. And one of the most exciting moments, sitting in Schottenstein Center and watched us win the 2014, Tim even jokes me up saying it, the 2014 state basketball championships. So, with that, I've been very fortunate. Along the way, I've received some nice honors, but I want to tell you all, this is the greatest honor I've ever had. Thank you.
Thank you, Patty, and congratulations to Dave Nogle. Please help me welcome to the stage Coach Tim Cogan, inductee number 169. Tim is the 22nd coach inducted and the 25th special. Tim will be presented by Kelly Hart Chin.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kelly Hart, and I'm a 2011 grad and former girls basketball player. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here as not only one of my favorite coaches, but one of my favorite people gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. And it's an absolute honor, and it's so fitting that even a decade later, Coach is still finding new ways to put pressure on me. Coach Kogan led the Fairmont girls basketball program for 13 years. One of his signature lines is, "It's all about winning." And he certainly did a lot of that. With a record of 245-77, he not only led the program to numerous conference titles, but the first state appearance, followed by 3 more, taking home that state title in 2013. He's received numerous Coach of the Year awards, including Division I Coach of the Year in 2010, and he really created somewhat of a dynasty in the Ohio girls basketball world, not to mention playing a huge role in some amazing college and professional careers, such as Cassie Sant and Catherine Westbeld. Coach Kogan's contribution to the girls basketball program is so much more than all of those wins, tournament runs, and awards. He made such a huge and lasting impact on shaping our lives. While he taught us the ins and outs of executing a perfectly scripted man-to-man defense, he also stressed the importance of not only being a good teammate, but an even better person. And with him being somewhat of an intimidating presence to us all, we tried our best to listen and not let him down. Coach was always known for being a little energetic on the sidelines. I don't think I've ever seen him sit on the bench during a game, or let alone just stand still in one spot. He rarely had a voice after games, and following a particularly exciting win against Beaver Creek, there's a picture of Coach in the newspaper just looking super intense. We tried to joke around with him about it at practice the next day, and in perfect Coach Kogan fashion, he said, "Did you see that intensity? It would be great if you guys would feed off of that for once." That quote is what we call a classic Coach Kogan line. It's so true, though. We always gave 100% because we never received less than that from him. Even after graduating, you could always count on a call or text from Coach when you seemed to need it the most. The life lessons he instilled with us are still carried with us today. His impact could be found in the stands of any given game. Girls basketball alumni always loved coming back and supporting him in the program. When it came tournament time, we had enough alumni come back to our practices to make a scouting team. Girls that had already graduated college were even coming back, lacing up, doing what they could to help out the team. So when that 2013 team won state, it felt like all 13 years of teams had won. We said the word family after every huddle, and that's truly what he created, a bond between players and coaches that has really lasted a lifetime. We also get together and reminisce about the amazing wins we experienced, memories we made during those tournament runs, and also the sheer panic we would feel when we saw Coach walk into practice with the infamous stopwatch. Outside of his accomplishments on the basketball court, it's a testament to Coach Kogan's compassion that throughout these years, he's attended college games of his alumni, including a notable national championship in 2018. He's attended weddings and even met the children of these former players. For so many of us girls in this room here to support him, he has shaped who we are today, and we really can't thank him enough for that. I would not be the person I am today without his guidance and support that has extended well past the 4 years I was lucky enough to be a small part of those teams. I'm so thrilled and honored for Coach Kogan to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. I know he doesn't always love being in the spotlight, but it is so well deserved. And I hope he can take the time to soak this all in, appreciate all of these people who are here to support him, all the people whose lives he's changed for the better, including mine. Thank you.
So the stopwatch meant they were going to run a lot, if you didn't get that part. So I have Coach's voice right now, and any of the players out there know in February this is what I sound like. We had a game Thursday night, close one, came down to the end, we lost by 1, and I left my voice there as well. I want to start off by thanking everybody in the Hall of Fame committee for recognizing me to be a Hall of Famer. It's an honor. Especially I want to thank Shane Sullivan for nominating me for this award. It's a first-class act, the way you guys run everything, and I can't thank you enough. I'd like to start off by thanking a lot of people, and honestly, I'm not standing here without everybody else that helped me and us get to where we were throughout our journeys. But I want to start off with Bill Stager. He blessed me by hiring me as a coach and a teacher, kind of created something here for me to get in the building, and it all started with him. And I'd also like to thank people like Mickey Morgan, Tim Casey, Rick Robertson, Roger Heinisch, all of who played an important role in my coaching career here at Fairmont High School. Next, I'd like to thank each and every coach that assisted along the way. Coaching's kind of transit, people come and go, but we were very fortunate to have some consistency within our program, which makes your program better when you have the same people each year in and year out. But to start off the program back in 2000, when you start a program, you got to find people that are willing to put in the time and want to give you everything that you need. And the first group of people, Chris Nissen, Dan Von Handorf, Lori Kaiser, and Laura Finn, were part of our group. We call them the foundation builders. And all those first year and second year and third year girls were the foundation builders. And they did a phenomenal job of buying into that, because when you're starting a program, you got to start from the bottom. And we definitely dug the holes and poured the foundation as we move forward. We went through some changes again as time went on with coaches, and the consistency regained itself with people like Tyler Alexander, Mandy Winter, Michelle Owen, and then Bridget Shampton. Again, great people that helped us throughout this journey. You have your start, your middle, and you want to call it the finish, but down the final stretch years, I really love, like Kelly said, we'd have former players come back, or college break, or they graduated, and they got it, and they got me, and they understand it, the fact of how I want to coach kids, and to have them come back and help from time to time was amazing. They're great people. The girls that I had the time to spend with, just amazing people. And, at the end there, we ended up with, the last 5 years or so with coaches Chris Nissen, Brian Gillespie, Bridget Shampton, Jennifer McVicker, was Jennifer Beekman. And then we also added on Christine Grimmie and Stephanie Bamberger for a little over a year, two former players again that came back, and it's amazing. And the good thing too is about bringing back young people. They can display the movement better than I can at my age, so it's nice having them around to help me with those things. I'd also like to give a round of applause though to Coach Nissen. He was a foundation builder, and he was a foundation finisher. He was with me all 13 years. Chris, thanks. I got to give a huge thanks to my family. They've supported me through, everything. I've got a big family. If you saw them all out there, they've followed us all over the place. Wherever we went, they'd be following us. I'd like to thank my parents for all their guidance and support throughout my coaching career and helped me become the person I am today. Also, with my wife and children, this is all they know. This is it. I mean, since our kids were born, and the girls, first-year girls, there's a couple of them here today, can attest to us bringing a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old in the gym. And they went through that their entire life, but it was a good life to have them. They lived in a gym. And my wife, she's truly a rock star. There's no question about it when it comes to being a coach's wife. She knew what she was getting into in college, because that's when I started doing stuff, but she gets it. And thanks a lot, Brenda. Appreciate all that you've put up with throughout the years. She's also my psychologist too, because I need that a lot. I want to give out a quick shout out to something called the Dream Teamers. There were boys that we would bring in each year to help mimic or try to get that speed, that pace up to go against really good teams. And we had a lot of guys come in throughout the years, and they enjoyed it, and they really made our program better. So they definitely deserve some of the credit to all of our success. Last but not least, of my thank yous, I can't thank all my former players enough for buying in and year out. It was an honor to be your coach, and I'll always be grateful for the memories. And I will tell you, I was not easy on them at all. I was asked last night in an interview, and I've been asked this ever since I left to go coach boys. What's the difference, or how do you treat them differently when you're coaching? And I didn't treat them 1 ounce different. I came from the boys program for close to 10 years with Tim Casey, and when I stepped into the door for the girls, and they can tell you, they were just human beings getting ripped by me day in and day out and doing the things they did. But I think they valued that and appreciated that. And talking about a little bit where it all began, how I ended up in that situation. I was asked in the hallway one day when the job became available, hey, do you have any interest in applying for this job? And before he could finish saying that, I knew what he was going to say. I said, absolutely not. I want nothing to do with that. The reason being is, in college, I had to take a course. I had to get a coaching credit for one of my classes. And I'm like, well, all right, I got to figure this out where I'm going to coach. So I took a job at St. Aloysius Elementary School in Bowling Green, coached 7th grade girls volleyball. All right, now you guys, I know volleyball somewhat. My girlfriend, now wife, Brenda, played in high school. I'm like, all right, and she went to Bowling Green. She can help me out with this. I'm sure she'll help. So I took this job, and then Brenda's had night classes. She was never there to help me. And so I was just flying by the seat of my pants and coaching girls for the first time. And at the end of the season, I looked at my wife and said, I will never do that again. I will not do that again. It was too much, and I don't know if I was ready for it. But, you know, after talking to my parents and my wife about this position, you know, I decided to go through the interview process, and obviously the rest is history. But it was one of the best decisions I ever made. There's no question. To be able to touch the lives of many people and just to get to see them, it's amazing. As far as something that I had all these different sayings throughout our careers and different generations, different levels. I might say certain things, but, you know, I always said, you know, what you do now is you're in your window of opportunity, and your window is going to close quickly, because it does. And, you know, the main thing I stress is to make memories for a lifetime. And, you know, we did that each and every season, and it came true, and that's the beautiful thing about it. I've been truly blessed because, you know, everyone that played a role in this program helped this become a beautiful journey. Again, when I see somebody, 2 young ladies earlier that I haven't seen 23 years, and they still remember things, and they're still appreciative from what they learned in that 1 year because they were seniors when I took the job. And then to get to see a lot of the rest of them here, it's just a blessing, and I'm very thankful. And this award is a we thing. It's not a Tim Cogan thing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly, and congratulations to Coach Tim Cogan. A gentle reminder to all of the Hall of Fame members who are with us this afternoon. Immediately following the induction of our newest Hall of Fame class, we'll be asking you to come to the auditorium stage to be part of the pinning ceremony and group picture. Please help me welcome to the stage Cassie Sant, inductee number 170. Cassie is the very first member of the class of 2010. Cassie will be presented by Pam Fortner.
Good afternoon. I'd first like to congratulate all of the inductees, Cindy, Dave, Tim, and Cassie. We have followed Fairmont girls basketball since our daughter Melissa played in the 90s. Cassie was a starter on the basketball team all 4 years at Fairmont, and according to Tim Cogan, her coach, she played a major role in getting Fairmont to their first ever Final Four. I remember going to the girls' game a couple weeks after Melissa passed. 2 things I remember from that game. Dave and Patty Nogle were sitting right in front of us, and number 44, Cassie Sant. She was really good, and Melissa wore 44 as well, so I followed 44. I'm not sure how many games we went to the rest of that season, but we were invited to attend the girls' basketball banquet that year. Cassie was the first recipient of the Melissa Fortner McLaughlin Be Positive Spirit Award. A plaque hangs in the Trent Arena with the names of all the recipients. Cassie is number 1, and by the way, it was Coach Cogan's idea and Dave Nogle's to rename that award. We followed the team her senior year all the way to the Final Four. Cassie was the leading scorer with 25 points in the semifinals. After being recruited by multiple D1 schools, Cassie decided to go to UD. We followed her basketball career there too. At the time, I thought she might think we were stalking her. However, when I ran into her kindergarten teacher, Joan Rain, at a Fairmont game, then at a UD game, I knew I was in good company. Joan said, I remember, this is Mrs. Rain, her kindergarten teacher, said, I remember when Cassie came into my room that first day of kindergarten. She was taller than all her classmates, and I thought to myself, I hope she's going to play basketball one day. She certainly fulfilled my prophecy. Cassie first played basketball in the 5th grade when her friend Holly recruited her for her dad, who was coaching the Cobras. After that, Cassie's mom and dad signed her up for AAU, and according to her mom, she never played a game that year. She was learning defense and building confidence the first year. So her mom hoped Cassie would enjoy volleyball, so they went to a club volleyball meeting. She thought Cassie would be excited about it too. During that meeting, she turned to Cassie. Cassie wasn't focused on the meeting. She was drawing pictures of basketball hoops and writing Cobras. It was then that her mom realized that basketball was going to be Cassie's passion. However, Cassie did go on to play volleyball at Fairmont and did really well, so well that she received an offer from UD to play volleyball 2 weeks before she received an offer to play basketball at UD. According to one of her teammates, Cassie was the teammate everyone wished they could have on their team. You could always depend on her, and you knew she always had your back. She's just a natural leader, and people gravitate to her because of her calm, silly personality. For us, Cassie became a friend. We kept in touch when she played overseas in Italy and Australia. We were thrilled when she came back to be an assistant coach at Fairmont. Then back to UD on the basketball staff, where we still had season tickets to the women's games. Cassie got us hooked. Her last year on the UD staff, Cassie was instrumental in Melissa being recognized at the Pink game, and we were very grateful for that. Cassie is obviously being inducted into the Hall of Fame for her athletic accomplishments in basketball, volleyball, and track, a well-deserved honor. But there is so much more to Cassie. She has a great family, lifelong friends, including her kindergarten teacher. How many people can say their kindergarten teacher would be at their Hall of Fame induction? And actually, her kindergarten teacher isn't here tonight because she's at the UD game today. So she's a loyal, compassionate friend, and basketball will always be a part of her life in some way. Casey, her wife, summed it up best. Cassie is reserved and easygoing. She's just the sweetest, most thoughtful person. She's the kindest soul of anybody I know. Cassie is a faithful Firebird, a faithful flyer, and a faithful friend. And it is my honor and privilege to present number 44, Cassie Sant, to the 2023 class of the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame.
I'm going to do my best to get through this with minimal tears, but no promises. First, I just want to thank Pam for giving an amazing speech. I mean, you have touched my life in more ways than I can even speak to. I also want to thank the selection committee for me being here today. Special thanks to Scott Beyer for nominating me. This weekend has been an absolute dream. It's always great to be back on Fairmont Halls. I'd also like to congratulate my fellow inductees. It's a humbling experience being amongst such, excellence, honestly. You've been a perfect example to the Fairmont community of what being a Firebird is. I just feel lucky to share this stage with you and to be in your presence here today. For myself, it's truly an honor to be here. Coming back to Fairmont, walking through Trent Arena yesterday, it was such a nostalgic experience. So many memories, so many connections, friendships were made here that helped shape me into the person I am today. When I look back on my career at Fairmont, so many awesome sports memories come to mind. From finally placing in a track meet, Coach McDermott, he tried his best with me at long jump, but it was not always easy. To breaking all 3 of the blocking records with volleyball, scoring my 1,000th point in basketball, and making it to the Final Four my senior year. But unbeknownst to many, that year was all thanks to a ceramic octopus that our very own Kelly Hart made in her crafts class. Clyde Octo. He was our good luck charm. We would pass him around and we would kiss him before every single game my senior year. This is, of course, before COVID and all those germs, but we went undefeated with that little guy. We had an awesome season until he all came crashing down, quite literally. Our game versus Vandalia Butler, we learned that he had broken. Of course, we did not know this until after the game, but it became true. He was our good luck charm. So, of course, we had to piece him back together. And he lived on. The spirit of Clyde Octo lived on, and the rest of that year was pretty much history. We went on to match up with Vandalia Butler again for the regional finals at Wright State, and our very own Jessica Beatty decided to become the town hero. She scored the game-winning layup for us and sent us to state for the first time. But this whole thing started with, like Pam mentioned, Holly Carey. Holly and her dad, they asked me to come out and play for the Kettering Cobras, and I was not good. I was tall, but I was not good. I remember he told me to go check into my very first game at Henley Hall, and I just walked straight out onto the court. I did not know you had to go to the scores table and check in, and so, of course, the referee whistled immediately and issued a warning to the bench. So that was my start with basketball. It was awesome because I got to meet, obviously, Holly and also Amanda Turner, and those are girls that I ended up graduating with. In middle school, Jessica Beatty joined our team at KMS, and Kelly, she was just a year behind us. That bond of ours grew really close. We started going to youth Firebird basketball camps as well. Like I said, I did not grow up playing basketball. My parents, my mom was a volleyball player, softball. My dad played football, baseball, and he wrestled. So basketball was a foreign language to our family. So my idols, it wasn't Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant. It was Dana Mormon, Carmen Graham, Jennifer Beekman, Stephanie Bamberger, and the Yike family. Growing up, I just wanted to be like them. That's all that I wanted to be. I wanted to one day make the Fairmont basketball team and be that person that all these little kids looked up to, just like I did. I never thought about going to college or earning a full ride scholarship. I really didn't even know that would be a possibility. Fast forward, and I was fortunate for some of these names to be my teammates. I got to play with Nicole Womack, Abby Dalton, and Stephanie Bamberger my freshman year, and they really taught me the ropes. I bought into the program, the tradition of Fairmont basketball, and I really can't thank them enough. Despite all of these amazing experiences and accomplishments on the court, the thing that really stands out to me the most is the people that these sports brought me in connection with. So many thank yous are in order today. To my teammates, thank you for making my 4 years at Fairmont so special. The pregame meals in the cafeteria before volleyball games, making t-shirts for football games or the boys' basketball games, sleepovers, bonfires, bus rides home after a win. It's moments that I will never forget. This is truly an honor, and it's a recognition that I share with each and every one of you. I appreciate all that you guys have done, and I appreciate you for playing such a crucial role in my success, both on and off the court, and helping shape me into the player that not the player that I am today, but the person that I am today. To my coaches, I've had many. Coach Burley, Coach Snyder from volleyball, Coach Miller and Coach McDermott with track, Coach Kogan, Coach Nissen, Alexander, Gillespie, and like I said, there are countless others. Thank you for just being such a solid, positive, and consistent role model in my life and the lives of so many others. Coach Kogan and Nissen, you always pushed me to be my best and believed in me in times when I did not believe in myself. Okay. You built this girls' basketball program, one that is rooted in tradition, a tradition of blue-collar basketball, showing up every day, putting in the work. And we all know that you have to be early. To be early is to be on time. But there was no talk, there was no fluff, it was just disciplined, true grit basketball. And I really feel lucky to have been led, mentored, and inspired by you each and every day. To my parents and family, thank you for being my rock and always pushing me to reach my goals. The sacrifices that you made and the time that you guys would spend driving to practices, open gyms, and like Pam mentioned, I didn't even play in a lot of them when it first started. But you supported me and I stuck with it, and I like to believe it paid off, but I really appreciate it. I honestly don't know how you kept it all straight, but I'm so grateful. You were always there to help celebrate a win, help me move past a loss, and give me a pep talk if I ever needed it. You never put pressure on me, and I'm so thankful for that. I love you, and thank you for always being my biggest fans. Whew, okay, almost there. Lastly, to the Fairmont community, the administrators, the teachers, boosters, parents, fans, everyone, thank you for embracing me, nurturing me, and encouraging me over the years. Walking into packed Trent Arena, there's truly no better feeling. It was filled with Firebird fans. It's one of the best feelings in the world, and it's one that I cherish to this day. I would not be here today if it was not for that village that helped raise me. This induction is not just for me. It's for my family, but for you. I'm so honored to receive this. I'm so honored to call myself a Firebird. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam, and congratulations to Cassie Sant. At this time, will all Hall of Fame members, excluding the class of 2023, please form a line on the auditorium stage so that you may greet and congratulate the newest Hall of Fame members after they are pinned on stage. Thank you. Hall of Fame class of 2023, when I call your name, please make your way to the stage to receive your pin and to be congratulated by your fellow Hall of Fame members. When you're done being congratulated, please find a seat on the stage and stay seated for a group picture. Let's begin with Dave Nogle, Kettering Fairmont, 1991 to 2023. No rush, Dave. No. Next up is Coach Tim Cogan, Kettering Fairmont, 2000 to 2013. and Cassie Sant, Kettering Fairmont class of 2010. And of course, Cindy Brown, who could not be with us today, Fairmont East, class of 1979. At this time, I think we're ready for our group picture, and for anyone who wants to take a picture. On behalf of the City of Kettering, the Kettering City Schools, the Fairmont Athletic Department, and the Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame Committee, thank you for coming to the 24th Annual Fairmont Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. There is no rush to leave. Please stay, socialize, enjoy your company, time, fellowship together. Thank you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you next year. Congratulations to the class of 2023. Go Firebirds!